so welcome back. I'm here in my kitchen again because I'm headed to New York this weekend to see my fiance, and he loves when I bring him some goodies. So I figured, why not make some and show you guys how to do it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so starting off with these delicious s'more cookies. First, you're just going to need to line a pan with some graham cracker cookies. And once you have done that, you're just going to take some cookie dough, and I let it thaw for a little bit. Now you're going to begin and just take a little bit of the cookie dough, and you just want to spread this all over your graham crackers. And it's okay if it looks a little bit messy because it is cookie dough, so it will spread out as it bakes, but you do want to cover it pretty thoroughly. And then once you've covered it, I just went back through and I took little chunks and I just filled in the little gaps. It should look about like this. Then you're just going to go ahead and pop it into the oven, 350 degrees, and you're just going to cook it until it's about halfway done. Then you're going to take them out of the oven and you're just going to begin to put on your Hershey squares. And this just makes it look a little bit more like s'mores, which I personally love. And you can never go wrong with more chocolate. Once you have evenly put on your Hershey squares, then you're going to take some mini marshmallows and you're just going to put those all over the cookies. I love marshmallows, so I just put on a whole bunch of them. And you can lightly tap them just so that they stay in place. Once this is done, you're just going to pop these into the oven for a little bit longer. I personally like to put it on broil so that you get this nice golden brown look. When you take them out, this is what they should look like. Pretty much just like s'mores. I let mine cool off in the freezer for a little bit just so it was a little easier for me to cut them. And then I just began to cut them into the big squares, and then I went back through and cut them into smaller pieces just because I personally like bite-sized pieces because then you get to have more. And that's pretty much it. I'm telling you guys, they are so good. You definitely want to make them yourself. Moving on to these spiced donut holes, you are going to first just put some vegetable oil on the oven at low heat. Next, you're going to take some buttermilk biscuits, and you're just going to begin opening up those biscuits, and you just want to separate them out. Once you have separated them, you can begin cutting them, and I learned that cutting them into 4 pieces each is really the best way to go. I tried cutting them into thirds and even halves, but the smaller is actually better because they will puff up in the oil. So definitely just cut them into 4 pieces. Once you're done cutting them, you're just going to simply begin rolling them in your hands into a ball. And they don't have to be perfect circular balls because it doesn't really matter as long as they taste good. And this is pretty much what they should look like. Now it's time to prepare my spices, and all you need is a half a cup of regular sugar and then a half a cup of brown sugar. And then I had apple pie spice and pumpkin pie spice, so I experimented with this, but you basically just need a teaspoon of either of those spices, and then you just begin stirring all of your spices together. I transferred it into a Tupperware just because it was a little easier. Now it's time to add your donuts into the oil. If it looks like this, you're doing it wrong. That's right, it should look like this. If it was bubbling like crazy, then the oil was just way too hot. You really just want your donuts to cook at a slow pace. It should take about 5 to 7 minutes. So be patient with them, but they will puff up and start to become a nice golden brown. So once they look like this golden brown color, then you can take them out of the oil. You want to immediately put them into your spices. And I just dumped some spices all over it and rolled them around for a little bit. Once you're done covering the donuts with the spices, you can simply just begin taking them out and putting them into another container. These really are so simple. The hardest thing is making sure your oil isn't too hot, but they taste so good. For these leaf-shaped rolls, all you need is a cookie sheet, and you're going to line that with some wax paper. Then you're just going to lightly dust it with some flour. Then you're going to grab a can of crescent rolls, and you're just going to open these up. I really struggled opening these up, but once you finally get it, you're just going to open up your dough, and then I just pinched together the triangles so I had more dough to work with. Next, you get your cookie cutters, and I didn't have any leaf-shaped cookie cutters, so I just used some Christmas trees that I had. But I really do suggest getting some leaf-shaped cookie cutters if you want it to look right, because mine ended up really looking like Christmas trees or arrowheads. But you understand the point here. Now you're just going to take some melted butter and spread this all over your dough. And this just helps it get a little golden brown in the oven. Next, I just took some cheese and I sprinkled it over my leaves. I think it would be cool to use different kinds of cheeses so you get more color, but I only had one. After I finished sprinkling on my cheese, I used some paprika to add a little red coloring to make it look more like fall leaves. You can also add some parsley to add the green coloring as well, but I didn't have any. Once those are done, you're just going to pop those into a 375-degree oven and cook them for about 10-11 minutes. Then once you take them out, they should be a pretty golden brown color. The lighting is a little dark so you can't see their true color, but they are very pretty. Then you're just going to begin by transferring them onto a plate. I think they're so cute and would make really great dinner rolls for Thanksgiving. But that's about it.